Hello and welcome to episode number 13. Woo! Lucky number 13 of the Hobbies and Happiness podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Dan.
And I'm Jim.
And today on the podcast, we're going to be talking about a pretty interesting topic. Today we are talking about what's fun in card games and kind of how we enjoy gaming in general. It's an interesting conversation, so stick around. All right, let's jump in. Let's go.
Let's go.
Okay, so this came up, Jim. But you know what? But before we even actually dive in real quick, you know what I've actually been playing? So I was on vacation.
Yeah.
I was on vacation last weekend, right? So we took the family, kind of a family tradition. We all go down to Branson, Missouri. Had a great time, a lot of fun. But I don't even know why I started this, but you know how we talked about deck building games last week?
Yeah.
And we talked about Slay the Spire a little bit?
Yeah.
It is on the phone.
Oh, you were playing that on mobile? The phone? Oh,
yes.
Nice.
Yes.
I might have to pick it up.
Yes. Dude, I'm like back to being addicted to that game.
Yeah. I love playing as the poison guy that throws the knives.
Oh, dude, this is my favorite character.
Yeah, that guy's
but
great.
did you know they added a fourth character?
One, yeah, I did.
I
got to play the beta as that character.
It
was great.
I think it's like the character's like a witch or something.
Yeah, it's like a wizard thing.
Yeah,
all right.
It looks sweet.
I say it was great, but when I played it, I wasn't a fan. But
you weren't a fan of the game?
Of the character, the new character. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The fourth character, I wasn't the biggest fan of, but that was in beta, so like they could have changed some things, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So you haven't played it since that? Since the beta?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
But yeah, I love the poison guy in there, and the one that gets the orbs for that like passive damage or shielding.
It's so cool. Like so.
Yeah, I love
and
it.
it's interesting too because you know in the last episode we talked all about deck building games, right? And it's really good. Like Slay the Spire is a fantastic game because the way if you've never played Slay the Spire, it's classified as a rogue deck builder. Okay,
Yeah.
So it's like basically you go through a dungeon and it changes. Like each run is very different.
Yeah.
Okay, so you start with you pick a character. There's 3. Now there's 4 characters, but it used to just be 3. The initial character is focused. It's more all around. It's an all around.
He's like a warrior type of guy.
Yep. The second character is green. Is focused on poison.
Yeah, he's an assassin.
Yeah, an assassin. Yeah. And then the third one is like a mech.
Yeah, it's like a robotic engineer type thing.
Yes.
That utilizes elements.
They all play very differently because they both have access to specific cards within their class.
Yep.
And they also have access to neutral cards.
Yeah.
So each character plays very, very differently. And each run is very different because you start with this set of cards, right? This base set. And then as you go, like as you beat these rooms and go through these rooms, you can buy new cards and you're offered different cards every time. So each run is very, very different. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There's
a lot to that game.
It's a ton, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I've gotten back into that game and I'm wasting too much time with that game. And it's funny too, and I didn't mention this last week, and I wanted to, but I'm looking at this game that just came in the mail today. It's Power Rangers deck building game. I'm stoked about this game.
Yeah.
It's just Power Rangers is awesome, man.
Honestly, when I first saw it, I was thinking it was the Power of the Grid game, but that one's like
that's
mini
different.
based. Yeah, this is
that's
completely
miniatures.
different
This is all cards. It's a deck building game. Yeah, and it says core set, so I think they have expansions planned for the future.
Okay.
So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I want to see this.
Yeah. So anyway, I first talked about my weekend. Yeah. So I had a fun weekend. Silver Dollar City in Branson. A lot of fun. If you've never been, it's like a theme park in Branson, Missouri. It's a lot of fun. So we got a family together. Good to be together. I don't even know next time we're going to be together, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There's one thing I did want to mention though. So we normally go there like in the fall, like during Thanksgiving, Christmas time.
Okay.
It's a lot different in during then, obviously.
Yeah.
But in the summer, it's totally different. They have this one ride, right? It's like it's a water ride, right?
Okay.
So basically, it's like a pirate ship ride where you get on, and it seats like 8 or something, and you go along this river, and then you have these water guns.
Yeah.
That you can like shoot targets, and then what they have is they have where other people can set up alongside it.
Oh wow!
And they give them these guns that are sitting there so they can spray you. So literally the
cool.
entire family, right? So I'm on one car with me, my son, my brother-in-law, and my son's cousin, right?
Yeah.
So we're all sitting there, right? And so literally the rest of the family, minus the other girls who were on this other car, they're all getting on these other guns and they're shooting us, and dude, we were drenched.
So it's like 3 teams versus each other.
It was,
essentially.
yes. It was, dude, it's crazy. It is now, I guess it has now become a family tradition to where we make sure we do that if we're there in the summer.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. But I hear you had a long weekend.
I had a
too.
super long weekend, man. My cousin came in from Kansas, and
No, this is the cousin you cheated with.
yeah,
right?
this is the one I cheated with a lot of games.
I've said every time he brings up his cousin, I'm gonna specify if that's the same cousin.
Yeah, normally. So he was back in town with his girlfriend and his 3 kids, and it was something else.
I can imagine.
Yeah, grouped up at my aunt's house, which my younger cousin had a graduation party.
Oh, okay.
So we all grouped up there. A lot of people.
Congratulations.
There were a lot of people. Dan, you know how big my family is.
I
This
know.
was part of it.
Well, dude, it's crazy because like I thought my wife had a big family, and then I hear how big your family is. I'm like, dude, that's nothing.
Yeah, in a room of 35 people. Yeah, I feel at home.
Yeah.
So it was quite a few people, and but after that party, we grouped up with some of our other friends who live downtown, and we were there till about 2:30 in the morning.
Okay.
Then we came back. My aunt was staying up to let us into the house because we were going to sleep there for the night.
Okay.
And turns out she went to bed before we got there, so the house was locked, right? But
Okay.
I was going to go stay at my mom's. So she tells me the code to get into the house, right? But I can't even open the screen door because the screen door is locked. And that doesn't have, it's right behind the screen door where I just got to push in the numbers and I'm able to go to sleep. And so we go.
So you slept in your car.
So this is what happened. I'm like, you know what? Since my ma lived in my aunt's previous house, the one
Okay.
that we were staying with, the one who had the party.
Okay.
I'm like, you know what? Since she told me the code to that one, let's try it here. Turns out I was so glad it worked. We were able to get into the house, didn't have to sleep in the car. And but yeah, that was at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Yeah. So and then what, that was Saturday? Yeah, then Sunday we went out for breakfast, waited for my cousin to group up with us, but then they took forever. So then we were just like, all right, screw it. I'm just going home. Can't stick around forever. You know, I got stuff to do.
Right.
My mom picked me up. We wanted to go to Red Robin. The last 4 times we tried to go to Red Robin, there was always been an incident to where we couldn't get inside. It happened again on Sunday. We couldn't go. Like, all right, screw it. We're going to get Mexican food. I got home, and then we decided to work on the car, which took a poop on us on that Friday or a few days prior to this. Figured out that problem. And this weekend was just long, man.
It sounds like you had a more eventful weekend than I did.
Yeah,
is what it sounds like.
Yeah, that's what we'll call it. Yeah, I call it a bunch of baloney.
Yeah, let's just stick with eventful. I like eventful. All right. So before we get even more sidetracked on other things, so last week, what happened was at the end of when we finished recording last time, we Jim and I played a game called Funfair. Excuse me, no,
Oh.
not Funfair. Unfair.
Unfair. Yeah.
Unfair. All right. So it's a game, a lot of fun. It was the first time that we had played it, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
And essentially what the game is you are building your own theme park. Okay. It is mostly card based. So it's kind of it's like an engine building game.
Yeah.
Engine building /
You got to
deck
build
building.
your amusement park, and then you get gold based upon how big your amusement park is.
Yep. So essentially, you build out your amusement park, and then you can mess with the other players in their amusement park, basically. So a lot of fun. Jim ended up beating me, so there's these cards that are event cards. Okay, and the event cards they're kind of twofold. You can either use them to benefit you or to hinder another player.
Yeah.
Okay. So they kind of have dual purpose, and you can use them as you will. Okay. So the game is broken up into, I believe, 3 rounds. Okay, if I'm remembering correctly, like 3 total rounds. I think it was
total. I
maybe
thought
it
that
was
was
8.
8. Yeah, that was 8
Yeah, it
because
was
there's
8.
8 face down
Yeah.
event cards.
Right. So the way Jim played it essentially was.
Dude, I didn't do that until the end of the game, though.
I know. So what I'm
the first 7 rounds.
Yeah. So the first 7 rounds, he used those event cards to benefit himself.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's a mechanic in the game where when it's your turn, you have a bunch of different options to where you can either build up your amusement park, or you can draw 2 of these event cards and keep one and discard the other.
Yeah.
So Jim had done that. I wouldn't say a good chunk of the game, but
I did it at very key moments.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Yeah. And so what ended up happening was the last turn of the game, he had essentially a full grip of these event cards.
Yeah.
And he played every single one of those cards, he played it against me, meaning he used the side of the card that hindered your opponent. So he used that against me. Kind of totally screwed me over.
Yeah.
And I was kind of annoyed and frustrated, but also I was not surprised because I knew it was coming because I know Jim.
He's like, he knew I had 5 of the cards. So,
Right. So we actually started having a conversation because I asked him, I'm like, Jim, why do you enjoy screwing people over? Because like I'm over here minding my own business, just trying to build this theme park, which was fun and cool, and I was having a good time. And then Jim's like, what did you say? You were like, I can't have fun if I'm not screwing you over.
Yeah, I mean, like, so everyone has different ways of having fun, right? And like Dan was like, oh, I just want to do what I'm looking to do.
Right.
And I have fun by interacting with my opponent's quote unquote fun. And by that, you screw them over.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So we started that conversation. I'm like, this is actually kind of interesting because we're essentially playing a card game, right? And so what I was doing, I was really not. It's not that I wasn't paying attention to what Jim was doing. I was.
Yeah.
I totally was. But I was choosing more to ignore him and his board state over building up my own, right?
I ain't gonna lie, your board state was way more scary than what
It
mine
was.
was.
It totally was.
Yeah.
And I wasn't. And again, it was the first time both of us had played the game, so we're both kind of learning how stuff's how the game works. And I'm more focused on just building up my own board and just having fun building this amusement park.
Yeah.
And Jim, it's not that he wasn't it's not that he wasn't building up his own board. It's I feel like you were more concerned with what I was doing than what you were doing.
Yeah.
Is that a fair assessment?
Pretty much, yeah.
So like I'm just
I got my board to where I felt as if it was fine, and I was just like, you know what? We're getting close to the end of the game.
Because you got to a point to where like at the end of every round, you were gaining a lot of resources.
Oh yeah, that was partially because the was it events?
No, it was
events.
It was a lot of those. So we, and after discussing it, we kind of had found that I kind of got screwed over with a lot of these event cards that I never drew.
Yeah.
Now, Jim did draw a few more. I wouldn't say a lot more, but you did choose to draw those cards more than I did.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
So early game, actually, I think you were drawing them more than me, and I was like, wait a minute, these things are
maybe like one or two
so
turns.
good.
Yeah, maybe like one or two turns because there was one card that like what did it do, double your income rate or something like that?
Yeah, pretty much. So, but the one that was like the biggest one to me was at the end of the round when you take your money based upon how big your amusement park is. This is based upon how many total people can be inside of your amusement park.
Right.
So if, say, Dan was going to get 7 tokens or 7 gold because that's how big his amusement park was, that's how many people he had in it. My cap normally the cap is 15.
Yeah.
But I also got that card to increase the cap by 3.
Yeah, by 3.
Yeah. So it made it to where rather than I was going to get 15 gold, now I was getting 18 gold. And I got that card 3 more times. So 4 times total.
Well, right. And instead of having your total number of stars in your park, you got your total capacity.
Yeah. Yeah.
So whereas my total stars was maybe like 5 or 6 with a capacity of 15, at the end of the turn you gain income to the amount of stars that are basically in your park. Yeah. And you still have that total, that cap. Well, Jim he raised his cap and then he got income based on his capacity, not how much you're actually in there.
Yep.
So I kind of got screwed out a lot of resources, which hindered what I could do. But I mean, that is a mechanic in the game. Like it's called unfair for a reason. And so this game I felt was unfair, but it still was fun. Like it was fun. And it highlighted a lot of things.
Yeah. And the thing was also with that, if I didn't get those cards, like say those cards weren't even there for either of us, right? Your amusement park was growing way bigger than mine. So if I didn't do anything about that, I was just screwing myself over.
Well, right. I mean, there are cards there are certain other cards that affect both players or affect one player or the other.
Yeah.
But it's not like one player is directing that at another player.
Yeah.
It's just basically luck of the draw type thing.
Yeah.
To where, oh, hey, look, this is a bad card that is now affecting you. No, it's I'm playing this card to adversely affect you.
Yep.
So there are those elements in there as well. But yeah, I mean, if I'm over here building my own amusement park and it is giant and Jim has his amusement park, which is not as great. If there's nothing he can do about it, then he's left to his own devices, which is, I also kind of want to talk about this though. So like you do enjoy messing with other people, right?
Yeah. It's overall. Yeah.
So, and your reasoning, like you just said, maybe not your reasoning, but a line of thinking is if I have this massive board state and there's no interaction to where you can do anything about it, okay, what are you then forced to do?
Do what I don't want to do, which is then either scoop it up or I got to grow as well.
Right. It's that last part that I'm more thinking about.
Yeah, I got to grow.
Right. So you have to essentially, quote unquote, play the game better than me.
Yeah.
So one of the interesting things, and that's how I choose. Normally, it's how I choose to enjoy or play. I'm not even gonna say enjoy, just play games like Funfair. To where if I have to build an engine, I'm gonna build my engine, and I'm going to build it better than everyone else.
Yeah.
Like that. That's a line. Like and that I feel like that's just how I think. And that's kind of why. That's probably why I choose to play games that way.
Yeah.
Is because I'm building something and I have to build it better than everyone else.
Yeah.
I'm used to doing stuff like that, right? Yeah. And that's normally how I play, right? But the beauty of a lot of these games is I can play that way.
Yeah.
Other people can play other ways, and we're still playing the same game.
Yeah.
So, like, I really don't like it sometimes when Jim decides to just
do my stuff,
do his stuff. And the way that I view it is I'm building a Jenga tower and Jim just comes over and just
that's nice.
Kicks it all
down. Be a shame if you didn't have that.
Like my son. My son loves to do that.
It's funny you say that, actually, because when I was younger, my dad taught me to whenever he was playing games on like the PlayStation or the Sega against my uncles, he was like, if I'm ever losing, just turn it off.
Did he really say that?
Yeah, that's stuff I did. Yeah, I've done this. So I guess it stems all the way back.
Dude, that's funny. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But so we started this conversation, and then I'm like, that's the beauty about games like Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, all these card games, right? It's super simple to where I'm actually looking at a card game that's out on the board right now, Netrunner.
Dan, real quick, you brought up Pokemon. There isn't a whole lot of interaction in Pokemon.
Yeah, there's not.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot. Well, in terms of like Yu-Gi-Oh and Magic interaction.
Right. Right.
You would probably really like it because you're just like, oh, I'm building my stuff up quick. And then it's just like, all right, now I get in and do a bunch of damage or something like that.
Pokemon is very, Pokemon's like Hearthstone to where you're just doing your stuff and then now it's not my turn, it's the opponent's turn. And then they're going to do all their stuff.
Yep, pretty much.
So like, it's a thing, but then like I go, like if I go and play Pokemon, then I come back to play Magic.
Yeah.
It's so different when there is interaction.
Yeah.
It's completely different.
Yeah.
So, where was I going? Where was I going?
Well, you were talking about Netrunner.
Yeah. So it's, and I'm excited to get into Netrunner. Netrunner is an old and a dead game, but that ain't stopping me from getting into it.
That doesn't mean it's not fun.
Correct. So anyway, and the reason I bring up Netrunner is because it's out here on our board. So I look at Netrunner, right, or any card game for that matter. It's just cards, right? All they are is just cards, but they can be played in so many different ways, right? So like, for example, like a game like Magic, okay? You have the 5 different colors, okay? And they each play distinctly, right? They're very different from one another.
Yeah.
I sit down as a Sultai player. Jim sits down as a Grixis player.
Yep.
Okay? The way that I choose to play this game, I'm going to sit down and play my commander, let's just say. I'm going to sit down and play my my Muldrotha deck for commander. Jim's going to sit down and play what? What are you going to play?
Well, I mean, if we're talking about Grixis, we got to play Kess.
Yeah, you're going to play your Kess. You're going to play your Kess, right?
Which, honestly, they're very similar.
They
Kess
are.
And Muldrotha.
They are.
Yeah.
They are similar.
Yeah.
Muldrotha is just better, but but they are very similar. Yes. So, but it's the way that those two characters play and interact with the board are they're, like we said, they are similar, but it's very different. The play style is very different, but we're still playing the same game, and we're both enjoying it and having fun. 9 times out of 10, when I play my Muldrotha deck, I'm having fun. Because I enjoy how Muldrotha plays. And whenever Jim plays Talrand and Kess, I know he's having fun. Am I right?
Yeah, I haven't had too many games on Talrand where I'm like, oh man, this sucks. Like, I'm all right, that's a lie. Unless I'm versing a mono green can't be countered list, then all right, then I don't want to talk about it, Dan.
Mono green, turn 1 Allosaur Shepherd, make it indestructible and hexproof.
Yeah, and then all your stuff can't be countered because then what is it, Sarkhan? Is it Sarkhan? Sarok? That also makes it to where your stuff can't be countered. There is a mono green.
Well, Allosaur Shepherd is you can't all green spells.
Right.
Green spells you control can't be countered.
I know. I'm just saying along with that because there's a lot of different ways to make it to where they can't be countered. Because if one gets taken care of, you need to have another one.
Right.
I'm just saying specifically a commander that can always come back states that your stuff can't be countered.
There is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I
believe it's a Surok. I think
is it
that's
new?
His name.
Is it new?
No, he's from like Cons.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a bit old. And I don't know if he's mono green. I don't remember because he has a couple different color typings. So like red and green or something like that.
Okay.
Normally he's in teamer colors. So
okay. Yeah. I'll have to look that one up. Yeah. See what I can find on that one.
Yeah, but if stuff can't be countered, I am not having a good time.
And you know what? I think that's what the appeal is about Commander.
Yeah.
Right? Is you can play whatever commander that you want and still have a good time.
Yeah.
And I think a commander is the biggest it's got to be the biggest
It is.
format
It
in
is
Magic.
the number one format
The
for
number
Magic.
one format in Magic. And that's why Wizards of the Coast have embraced it so much.
Yeah.
Because they know they can sell more product and more cards that way, specifically because they have this format called Commander. So, and that's where the appeal comes from, is you can play your way and still have fun. I mean, you see that in how many advertisements? You know, like, was it Burger King was like,
Have it your way.
Have it your way.
I'm loving it.
It's all these ads,
Yeah,
and that's why they advertise that way.
Yeah.
Because that's what's appealing. When I can do what I want, how I want to do it, of course I'm gonna have fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have more fun that way.
Yep.
Where in card games, where that kind of all goes out the window is when you have a competitive scene.
Yeah, competitive EDH is rough.
And I'm not even talking EDH. I'm
just-
talking every other format.
Yeah, anything.
Anything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think about Arena, okay? So with Arena, okay, MTG Arena is the online game for Magic the Gathering. It's the newer client versus MTGO, which is Magic the Gathering Online.
Yeah.
I mean, Arena at the moment has cards from what set forward. They are going.
Yeah, there's a couple.
They are going as far back as, well, they're going to embrace at some point Pioneer.
Yeah.
Pioneer is going to be the
what I
oldest
heard,
format, as far as I understand, that they're going to embrace.
Maybe. I mean, as of
Pioneer
right now,
Masters,
they plan on
well,
making Pioneer Masters this
right.
year.
Right. So Pioneer goes back to what format?
Return-
Or what set? Return to Ravnica?
Yeah, it goes back to Return to Ravnica.
Okay. So for Arena, anything from once Pioneer Masters comes out, they'll have Return to Ravnica and forward. Every set forward will be on Arena.
But as of right now, I think their oldest one is Amonkhet. Oh no, they have Kaladesh. They have Kaladesh.
Is Kaladesh before? Kaladesh is before?
Yeah, Kaladesh and then Amonkhet.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Hour of Devastation was right
after
Amonkhet?
yeah, because it's in the same world.
Got it. Yeah. So Kaladesh was right around the time that I started. Yeah. No. Well, so wait a minute. If Amonkhet and Hour of Devastation were after Kaladesh,
Yeah.
okay, then Dominaria was after that. Is that correct?
So it went Kaladesh, Aether Revolt.
Yep.
Amonkhet.
Yep.
Hour of Devastation.
Yep.
Then it went to Ixalan, Rivals of Ixalan, and then Dominaria, and then Corset.
Yeah, Dominaria was before Corset.
Yeah, so Dominaria
Because
was the
after
single,
Corset,
and then Corset
was Ravnica again.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah, because I think when I got in, it was Dominaria, and then Corset was coming out. Yeah. So anyway, so with Arena, okay,
Yes.
I kind of got sidetracked there with Arena. My bad. So with Arena, it's interesting because there's different ways that you can play and enjoy Arena. Okay, like just like every card game, right? You've got your different formats. You can play Standard. You can play Historic. You can Draft. You can play Sealed. You can play. What's the standard version of Commander?
Brawl.
There we go.
Brawl.
Which nobody likes Brawl.
They literally just made it so that way people on Arena.
Yeah. Didn't they?
Oh, was it? I don't know if it was specifically for no. So it was a real paper one that they made.
It was.
So way people who had just extra copies of cards laying around, it would just be like, all right, well, let's slot this into a quote unquote commander list for Standard.
Brawl's terrible.
Yeah.
So hard to build a good and fun Brawl commander that's different from everybody else.
Yeah.
That's the thing, because with Brawl, it's just your card pool is just so limited.
Yeah.
So limited.
I do think like the best time to be playing Brawl though was during the Ravnica, the Guilds of Ravnica and Ravnica Allegiance.
Okay, why is that?
Because
you had War of the Spark.
Yeah.
You had all those legendaries.
Yeah, there were a lot.
There were a lot. There
of
were
stuff. Yeah.
There was a lot. There was a lot of stuff during that. You're right. You're right for sure.
And because you're able to use planeswalkers for your commanders in Brawl. So that's where all those in War of the Spark. So
Right. So anyway, with all these different formats that you can play on Arena, okay, What happened a lot was me, when I started kind of playing a lot of these card games online, I didn't like to play a lot of the competitive formats. I just wanted to play casual because I just wanted to enjoy the experience, enjoy the game. And normally when you jump into a competitive format, you have to play a certain deck if you want to win.
Yeah.
Right.
Or be able to beat certain decks.
Right. Right. So normally, like, I'm just jumping into these casual play queues. But then if I jump into these casual play queues, what happens a lot, and Arena isn't just an Arena problem. This is in every digital card game problem, basically, where they have it set up like this. You jump into the casual queue, okay? I have my janky deck that I'm just trying to do this one thing because it's fun. And I'm playing all these competitive decks. Like, you jump into a play queue for Arena, and it's red deck wins. Oh, look, another mono red list. Another mono red list.
Here's Demir Rogues.
Let's not even talk
Let's
about
talk about mono
Rogues.
blue tempo. What about that one, Dan?
But the nice thing about Historic, again, talking Arena specifically, with Historic, I feel like there was a lot of different decks that were good in Historic. Not now. Apparently, didn't they just ban Time Warp or something?
Yeah,
Oh,
they
my
just
word.
hit that
Because
one.
what was the top 8? Didn't every single deck? What wasn't there like 6 out of the 8 decks were Jeskai Turns lists?
I mean, I'm not surprised. It's also partially the reason why they had to hit Nexus of Fate a while back as well, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So
It's
can you imagine having both of those?
well, from my understanding, and I haven't kept up with Arena or what's going on. But I think the problem that the community seems to know is the issue is Brainstorm.
Yeah.
Brainstorm's a problem, but they did nothing about that. They just said, "Oh, it's Time Warp."
Yeah. That's actually what I noticed.
That meme to where there were a bunch of memes.
They also banned Lightning Bolt as well because it was in Historic.
What?
Yeah, Lightning Bolt, they got rid of it because if you have Lightning Bolt in a format, most decks are probably going to play it if they're in red. And not to mention,
what else they're going to play?
It is so cost efficient.
It is. What's the Stomp? The Giant?
Oh, Bone Crusher Giant.
Bone Crusher Giant.
Yeah.
That card was in, when it was in standard, it was in like 94% of decks or something.
I know.
They didn't do anything about that.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense to me.
None of this stuff makes sense
probably
to me,
because, Bolt's still better than Bone Crusher.
Well, obviously. It is. But at least with Bone Crusher, you're paying a total of 4.
It's
5.
You're
You're paying a total of 5.
Yeah, because it's 2 stomp and then 3
You're
to play.
paying a total of 5.
Yeah.
And then you're dealing 2 damage with the stomp.
Yeah.
And then you have a 4/3 body.
Yeah.
Which, if it's targeted, does another 2.
Yeah.
So you're probably looking at least 4.
Yeah.
You're probably looking at least 4 damage.
Yeah.
Is what you're doing. Yep. So 4 damage for 5. Still not better than 3 damage for 1.
Yeah, no
way.
No. Yeah, no. They had to get rid of that card very quickly. Otherwise, mono red was everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
but anyway, back to this problem that I've seen so much with card games is I try to play some weird deck in a casual format.
Yeah.
But then I run across all these other decks.
Yep.
Like, is that fun? No, because I'm dead by turn 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Like,
people just want to grind that ladder.
Right. But even with casual, there is no ladder.
I know.
It's not the ladder.
Well, it's also
a lot of times what people do is they use it for
quest.
testing. Well, they do it for testing too.
Well, yeah, that too.
They do it for testing.
Yeah, they don't want to go right into ranked.
Right.
So.
Right. But you don't see a lot of just other people just messing around with weird decks in these
it is pretty rare.
It's really,
it's either competitive or it's new players playing the like pre-generated decks that they give you.
Right.
So
the reason I kind of bring this up is a lot of people enjoy building weird decks. I mean, Jim, like you love the theory crafting, right?
Yeah.
So like if you're theory crafting this weird deck, and then you jump into just a casual ladder just to have fun and mess around.
Yeah.
I mean, you're probably, again, we would have to talk about your intent, right?
Yes. Also, I was going to say, normally when I'm theory crafting a list together, it tends to be control So like it's not as bad because it's like at least I got counter spells to be
Yeah,
like,
right.
all right, yeah, let's get that out of here. I
Right,
already got some
right.
board wipes. I got some draw spells.
Normally, when I'm crafting a list,
Yeah.
it's like a weird theme that I'm just trying to build around.
Yeah,
like my Kenrith list.
Yeah.
Dude, that deck is fun.
Yeah, it is.
It's actually a fun deck, but it actually has a theme to it.
I wasn't even thinking about EDH. I was more so
right,
strictly about the other
sure,
formats.
Sure. I'm just, that was a list that I can remember that not long ago I created.
Yeah, that one was pretty cool.
Does something weird. But yeah. So it's like we jump in and I don't want to be facing these decks that are just it's what the competition, not what the competition, excuse me. What I'm trying to say, I cannot talk today.
Yeah.
Is I don't want to be facing the metagame. Like it's the meta.
Yeah.
That it's the metagame problem.
Yeah.
Like that's what I kind of think about it is the metagame problem. Like I'm building a deck that I don't necessarily want it to be good in the meta. I just want to have fun with it.
Yeah.
But the problem is with the metagame is the metagame is everywhere.
Yeah.
If you think about it, like it really is.
It is.
Like everything.
You can't stop it. Honestly.
You can't. So it's like you have to. You kind of like have to learn to play with it.
Yeah. Where we're at with like technology, people either posting lists or things getting recorded on which decks are being the best played right now. And people are like, I want to win.
Right. Yep.
So it's going to be everywhere.
People are never not going to want to win for the most part, which I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. But like I said, if Jim and I are playing Magic here on the table, is there going to be a metagame? Yes.
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to approach it knowing Jim.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to think, okay, I know Jim. I know how he works and what he enjoys.
Yep.
So I have to be prepared to match up well against it if I want to do good, if I want to have a good match against him.
Yeah.
So if I don't care about that, if I just want to, let's just say build my own engine, but I can't build my own engine if I know.
If you know I'm going to have kill spell.
Correct.
If you know I'm going to be like, well, let's take a look at what's in your hand. All right, let's get rid of those cards.
Yep. So you have to know all that going in. So the metagame is everywhere.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first got into card games, I was trying so hard to wrap my head around metagame. Like, what the heck? What does that mean?
Yeah.
The heck is this the metagame? What in the world?
Yeah.
But the more I got into it and got involved in these communities, I much better understood what people meant when they said metagame. The metagame is in every game. Yeah. Every single game that...
Game within the game.
Yep. And I was so confused. Like, what the heck does that even mean?
Yeah.
Game within the game? What in the world? Makes no sense. How is anyone supposed to understand what that means?
Pretty much know your judge, essentially. So
know your judge.
Yeah. So I take that from a game called Cards Against Humanity. So if you know the person, and this is pretty much metagaming, if I know your style on what you think is funny, I'm not going to give you one of these other cards in my hand to let you vote on it. So you would find out whichever one is funny that really goes with the topic. Right. So if I'm like, oh, this card is hilarious, but I know Dan is not going to think it's as funny as I know my sister would or my dad would.
Right. Yes.
I'm like, all right, I'm going to save that card for them. Wait till the right topic.
Yeah. Like apples to apples, the same thing.
Yeah. Apples to apples. I love that game too.
Yep. And that's exactly how we always approach it is, okay, I think this is hilarious, but like my wife, for instance, she thinks the weirdest things are funny. The weirdest things. So, and I remember the last time we played this game, I'm like, okay, I know Brittany is gonna love this, so I'm gonna make sure I give this card to her. And was I right? You darn right, I was right.
So I've done that against my sister, and my family has done that against my sister so many times in these games. She's just like, all right, someone's playing their judge, and she'll say it, right? And someone will just laugh because they're like, all right, it was me. But she still ends up picking the card because she knows it's too good to pass up.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there's a metagame inside
David,
of
there is.
Apples to
It's
Apples, Cards Against
crazy.
Humanity, all
It's
that
crazy.
stuff. Yeah.
But like that's what's awesome to me about these games. And honestly, you only really see it in card games.
Yeah.
Because card games, I feel like the difference between card games and like a board game, for instance, is card games, they have a much looser structure than board games do. So like you're given a lot more latitude per se
Yeah.
when you're playing it and kind of interacting with other people who play it than a board game. Like, right? Because a board game, it's like you have to play it a specific certain way.
Yeah.
And with card games, yeah, you do have to play it a certain way.
Yeah.
But the way you kind of play it is going to be a lot more open to. I mean, like you look at Magic. How many different formats are there in Magic? Pokemon,
there's a
Yu-Gi-Oh.
lot.
There's a ton of different formats.
Not for Yu-Gi-Oh! There's only one.
Is there? Well,
There's only one that is played.
there?
It's
Really?
only one. It's the advanced format. Yes. All right. There's also GOAT format, but that's like more underground-esque thing. So
okay,
Yeah.
but there's more than one.
technically, even though it's not officially by Konami, which is the Yu-Gi-Oh
Yeah,
people.
the publisher.
Yeah.
right.
So
right. Okay. But like I look at a game like Tiny Towns here
Yeah.
on my shelf here.
Yeah.
You can only play that game like one way.
Oh.
It's a puzzle.
Oh,
You know?
okay.
It's it's a board game. It's a
Yeah.
basic board game.
Yeah.
To where I look at I look at Flesh and Blood here, and there's a lot of different ways you can play this
Oh
game.
yeah.
So the structure is much more open, and that's what's awesome like about card games, right? You have different decks that you can build, and we talked about statistics a little bit last week.
Yeah.
But you have all of these. You have so many different cards and your options to build all these different decks, to where you can literally build like any kind of deck that you want, and it's going to do something different.
You know, I actually just had an idea. So when we were just talking about the game inside of the game, and not as easy as doing it inside of like board games, unless it's like Monopoly, right? So let's say my sister was playing against me and my cousin, right? She knew we were most likely going to cheat, right? Or she should have known. So she would have to be paying more attention to us and our actions outside of this game while being inside the game, you know?
Right.
So, or if you know someone prefers to go for a specific color or whatever property,
Right.
you know, you can kind of bring that to your advantage.
Yeah, that's true.
Whether it's like if you guys do trading of properties, which I don't know if that's actually in the rules for Monopoly, but people do it.
Yeah, right.
So, you can also then be like, all right, well, I can get this little advantage because I know that they really want this color and I have these other two. And if I can just get that one, I can start throwing all the houses on it, you know?
Right.
So, yeah, in some board games, there is also a meta, but it comes down to your play group and how you know them.
Basically, yeah. So. Right. Yeah, just like with everything with these games, it's know your play group, know who you're playing with, and then proceed from there, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So, like I just find it very interesting. Just Jim and I are both very different people, and we enjoy these games very, very differently. And that's what's awesome about these games is we can both enjoy them as we play the same game with one another.
Yep.
So
there's so much variety.
Right. And like your enjoyment, and obviously it comes down to individual preference, right? And then you making the choice, okay, I'm going to play this way, and I can still enjoy it and find fun in playing this game. But when Jim starts messing with me, like I can still, I have a couple options. I can play back, or I can just, flip the table and say, Jim, I hate you. What are you doing? I
was going to say, you can attempt to play back, Dan.
But like, I found it very interesting when we were talking about it, and I'm like, why is it, Jim? Like, why do you, because then we just get into the psychology of it, which isn't as an interesting conversation if you ask me. But it is interesting to think about. Like you enjoy things that are different than I do.
Yeah.
But we're still playing the same game, and we're both still taking joy away from this experience.
Yeah.
Away from this game that we are just sitting around the table playing with one another.
Yeah.
And you're playing it very differently than I am.
Yeah. I think it also stems from like me just really enjoying to troll people and see their reaction in real life, you know? And I think that also just goes inside the game because it's like, well, not only am I trolling you in real life, it's like, all right, well, now I'm just stopping you from doing things inside the game that you also wanted to do. So then and then if it does piss them off, and eventually most of the time it does.
Yeah.
And then just seeing
because
their
most
reaction.
people want to win.
Yeah.
Like, and when you're stopping them from winning, it's like, it's a totally different dynamic, right? When you have 3 people that are all 3 trying to win at the same game. Okay. It's a completely different dynamic when 2 of them start to try and win, and then the other one just says, you know what? I'm not going to try and win. I'm just going to try and stop this one guy from winning.
Oh, yeah, that's completely
different.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's what Jim does.
Yeah, especially if the game's taking forever. I'm just like, all right, I don't care who wins. The next person to do something big, I'm just going to let it happen.
But honestly, Jim, like I honestly think the way that you play some of these games, you just do that from the outset.
Oh,
you're not like you're not necessarily thinking that I'm just going to try and screw this person over, but in actuality, that's kind of what he does.
Kind of. I'm more so, oh man, if someone just does something that's really funny at the start of a game and I have a way to stop it. But all right, so I'll give a little bit of a story here. On Friday, I grouped up with some people from Grapple.
Okay.
Right? We played Commander. There was like 6 of us or something. And so
we haven't even talked about that because I knew you guys were grouping up, and I haven't heard anything about how it went. So I'm interested to hear this.
I actually got a few stories from that day.
Oh yes.
Well, two good ones. This one right here. One of our people who used to have a suitcase full of Commander decks.
Okay.
I'm sure you know who it is.
I know who that is.
And
for sure.
So he was playing a mono red list, and he.
What?
This is because he wanted to accelerate the game. He was just like, "There's 6 people. I just want to make this fast."
You know what? I remember the last time we grouped up.
Yeah.
He didn't mention that he was building this or he had built it.
Yeah, I think he has a few of them.
Really?
Yeah, it was in the Heb list though. Well, this specific one was in the Heb list.
Okay. Yeah.
And so this was, I didn't even get to play my second land yet, and he looks over to me. He's like, "Hey yo, let me do this." He reveals a Furnace of Wrath to just double damage, right? I'm like, ooh, that's all right, yeah, I like that. So I was gonna let him do it. And,
turn 1 or turn 2?
or
I
went last.
Okay,
I went last. Okay. He just showed it to me to be like, "Hey yo, in a few turns, let me do this."
Okay.
So I had no issue with it. And
because you were playing control.
Yeah, I was playing mono blue control Telrand, and I just thought it was hilarious. So then later on in the game, I played a Mirage Mirror, right?
Yeah,
and
love that card.
And so then the guy who had the Furnace of Wrath, he was like, "I think I might actually be able to take out someone right now," and I'm like,
wait, you had the Mirage Mirror?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I did was I'm like, well, before that card resolves, I'm going to pay the 2 Mirage Mirror, target the Furnace of Wrath. So now it's doubled and then doubled again.
So quadrupled.
Yes.
Yep.
So then he just proceeded to go off. He killed 3 people in that turn. And I think I was one of them.
How many were playing? Is it a 4-pod?
This one was 6. This one was 6-player game. Yeah, so that's why he was like, "All right, I just want to make this game go fast."
Yep.
And so he ended up winning that game. He destroyed like everyone, and I just laughed
that
and
is
had
funny.
a great time.
That's funny.
Yeah, and people were cracking the latest Modern Horizon boxes as well.
Sweet.
Got some pretty decent pulls. And it was weird because each one of their boxes, they had the exact same 3 big money lands. It was a Misty Rainforest, Marsh Flats, and an Urza Saga.
Okay.
Each one of their boxes had that. And I was
Whoa,
like, that's kind of weird.
That is weird.
You know? And so I didn't see like what else other people pulled, but yeah, those 3, that was a little strange. And here it is. You ready, Dan? This other story.
Okay. All right.
Since he already gave us permission to say his name,
Okay.
it was Noah,
Okay.
me, 2 other people.
Okay.
And so here it is. Noah suspends a Wheel of Fortune. Is that the suspend one? Wheel of Fate? One of those 2.
I think it's Wheel of Fate.
Yeah. So he suspends it. It's getting ready for 4 turns. Before it goes off, and mind you, he already had out Sphinx of the Final Word. So his instants and sorceries could not be countered, which is kind of rough for me, but you know, we dealt with it.
This was the Niv Mizzet list.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, this was the Niv Mizzet list.
Yep.
And so right before his Wheel of Fate came off of suspend and cast, which it couldn't be countered, he goes to flash out Hull Breacher. Mind you, I called this as soon as he played the Wheel of Fate. I'm like, he either has Narset or he's going to flash out Hull Breacher later.
Right.
So he flashes out the Hull Breacher.
Okay.
Right?
So Hull Breacher on the stack.
Yes.
Okay.
This
is just how I think about
Hull
all these
Breacher on the stack.
Yeah.
Hull Breacher on the stack. I go for a counter spell, right?
Okay. Which one?
I think it was cancel, but it was it was 2 mana because I already had out Amulet, whatever that.
Primal Amulet. Primal Amulet?
No. It's a instant and sorcery cost reduction.
Okay.
Once you cast 4, it flips into a land that when you tap it, copies.
Amulet. That's Primal Amulet. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Probably.
So was it a mana rock? Or excuse me, was it the artifact?
It was a
side?
reduced. Yes.
It was the artifact side.
Okay. Primal Amulet.
Yeah. Okay.
And so
Somebody's
I
gonna tell me I'm wrong here.
Yeah. Regardless of what it's called, it was a reduction,
Right.
2 mana counter spell.
Right.
And he goes to play Narset's Reversal.
Okay.
He counters. Oh my god.
So he was targeting.
Dude, he countered. He copied my counter spell, right? And it got bounced to my hand. He didn't realize he couldn't target itself.
Yes! Yes!
So he had to counter spell his Hull Breacher. And since Sphinx,
It can't be countered.
I couldn't even counter his thing if I wanted to. or if he wanted to, he couldn't even do it. Dan's crying over here, Noah.
That's awesome.
So he was a little bit salty, right?
That is awesome.
Because he didn't get to screw us over and get a lot of mana.
That is awesome.
Right? So then
I can't, dude, that's hilarious.
So then he's like, okay, fine, whatever. Cast the Wheel of Fate. Came off suspend. He was then able to cast it. And I'm like, summary dismissal? He's like, it can't be countered. I'm like, I'm exiling the stack. He's like, fudge you. He's so pissed at this point.
No, hang on.
Yeah.
So the Wheel of Fate didn't go off then?
It did not go off because it was exiled.
Okay, so when did you cast Summary Dismissal?
As soon as
when the
Wheel of Fate went on the stack.
Yeah, right.
I played Summary Dismissal. Sphinx of the Final Words specifically states instant sorcery can't be countered.
That's right. So
Summary Dismissal got rid of the stack. It's just exiled. Everything is gone. There is no stack anymore.
When did you cast that though?
As soon as it went on the stack.
Oh, so the way it went was Wheel of Fate is on the suspend was on the stack.
No. So the last suspend came off. He then cast Wheel of Fate. Okay.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
So then in response to the cast, I then went summary dismissal.
And
he was
when
like,
he
no,
cast-
you can't, or he was like, can't be countered. I'm like, exile the stack. And that's when he said, F you, you're a D.
I'm still.
What's the problem?
Yeah, I'm. And this. I guarantee this is just me not understanding it here.
Okay.
So when did you cast summary dismissal though? Was that after Hull Breacher got countered?
Yes. So that was the thing. He didn't take off the suspend counter first to then cast, hold priority, go into Hull Breacher. That's not when he did that. He did Hull Breacher first to then get that out on the board.
Yep.
And then we went to suspend coming off, and then he was casting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then that's after he found out I exiled the stack. There's no countering going on here. Then he's like, F yourself.
Because summary dismissal isn't a counter spell. It just says exile the stack.
So it technically is. So it is exile all spells and counter all abilities.
Oh, so that's how summary dismissal reads. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So that card's a little good. If you guys don't have it, get it.
Yeah. How much? What's the
CMC?
mana value? Yeah.
So it's 2 double blue.
Okay. So it's
except
4.
I had the primal amulet to then turn it down to 3 mana.
Okay.
So
it
wasn't even a problem.
Okay.
And yeah, it was something
Dude,
else.
that's
He was
hilarious.
upset. This went on until we actually got. So that
so again, we're always coming back to the Jim is having fun by screwing everyone else at the table.
I didn't even win that game. I knew I won
there.
though.
I wasn't even there, and I'm enjoying it.
Dan just knows exactly what's going on.
I'm enjoying this here, dude. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So and then this went on. He was salty and pissed off at me for the rest of the day, the whole rest of the night.
I can see it, dude.
We went back to my house afterwards. Well, we got dinner with some of the other guys. Went back to my house and then told my girlfriend about this story, and he was like, "I hate you so much."
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was something else.
Well, you know what? I think we're gonna end the episode on that story because, dude, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, well. You know what, Jim? If people want to hear more about that story, how can they hit you up on social?
You guys can hit me up on Twitter, Instagram at Jim Morgan HNH.
You can find me on the socials at my Twitter's _DJ Campbell, and my Instagram is at daniel.g.campbell. These will all be linked in the show notes. And again, we want to also make sure we also not announce because we announced this last week, but July 10th we are having our community game night. It's going to be at the Lincoln Way Special Recreations Association building.
You know what I was thinking about that, Dan? We're calling it the community game night, but it's from like 1 o'clock to 6. What about game day?
Game day?
Yeah, the community game day.
game day /night /event /whatever. Just come out and have some fun.
Afternoon.
Yeah, afternoon /night. There we go. I was thinking about that too. I'm like, it's from 1 to 6. We can't really say game night, kind of. I mean, technically after 5 p.m. we can say night. So we're good, I guess. All right. So yeah, July 10th from 1 to 6 p.m. As we continue to get closer, we're going to be posting about it. Come join the Discord. Link for the Discord is always going to be in the description. But once we get closer, we are going to be posting more about that on our socials. So check those out. If you've got a story, you got any stories, hit us up. Email us, hobbiesandhappiness@gmail.com.
Doesn't have to be about Magic. It can be about any board game.
Anything. You got a good story, you let us know because we want to hear it. We want to hear these stories. Yeah. So with that being said, sorry, man, my goodness. So yeah, you can hit us up on all the social medias. I think that's pretty much it. I feel like I'm missing something because I'm like my gears are turning in my brain here, and I want to make sure I'm saying it all. But I think we're good. So
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate it, and hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and we will catch you all next week.
Take care, guys.
All right, see everybody.